Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but have not subscribed yet, please do so, along with hitting that thumbs up button for me and dropping your comments. Definitely want to hear your comments, especially after this big game. Game 2, first round, Knicks versus Cavs in Cleveland. Didn't go the Knicks' way. I have a lot to say about this game. I have highlights for you guys. I have stats, breakdown, and everything. But I'm just going to say right off the bat, it really felt like the Knicks just weren't ready. They were not fully prepared for the Cavs responding on their own home court to what happened on Game 1. They say they kept using the word literally use the word punch in like interviews in between the games. Okoro said it. Or I don't know if Okoro, Garland definitely said it. And shout out to Garland. You know, he backed it up. He had a great game for himself and for the Cavs today. And he was obviously the major difference in the game. He ended up with 29 points on 17 shots, hit 6 of 10 from the three-point line, and 10 of 11 from the free throw line. He got to the free throw line 11 times, connected on 90.9%. Donovan Mitchell, shout out to him. He understood that the Knicks were their entire game plan was to shut him down. So he's like, you know what? There's another guy on this team who can light it up. So I'm going to be a decoy. And it worked. It really worked. Donovan Mitchell finished with 24 points, 17 points. He was a plus 24. He only finished with 17 points. This is one of the top 7 leading point scorers in playoff history. Only got 17 points tonight because he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to overdo it. And that is the point of this entire recap. Jalen Brunson. I hate to say it, brother, but you lost us this game. You were trying to hero ball it, and you obviously didn't have it. And then they targeted you on the defense. They were constantly trying to get switches, so you were on the man with the ball, and that worked in their favor. And when you had the ball, you ISO'd it to death, especially in that first quarter and in the second quarter when you came back in, where no one else even got a chance to get into any rhythm. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, our technically best shooter in our starting 5 is Quentin Grimes. He had 1 shot attempt in the first half. 1. He finished with 2 shot attempts the entire game. We confirmed that. Yes, 2 shot attempts in the entire game. And this obsession with protecting the paint beyond all else. Well, tonight was the death knell. This was it. It crushed us tonight because we allowed the Cavs to shoot 42.4% from the three-point line. We allowed Caris LeVert, who was a non-entity in the previous game, to shoot 4 of 9. Caris LeVert and Darius Garland combined to shoot 10 of 19 from the three-point line. You're not going to win a game in the NBA if you're allowing the opponent's backcourt to shoot that. You're just not going to. Now, LeVert actually technically plays the small forward on their team, but the perimeter. If you allow perimeter shooters to shoot over 50% from the three-point line, there ain't a chance in hell that you're going to win this game, especially on a night when you don't even shoot 30, make 30 attempts from the three-point line. We put it up 29 times and only connected on 7 of them. And I'm going to tell you, it's not because the shot wasn't there. It's because we didn't develop the shot early enough. Playoffs are about intensity. The Knicks, first of all, I don't know why they stayed in Cleveland. I was saying, it makes sense. They should come back. Why did you stay in Cleveland? So they stayed there. They stayed there Sunday night, last night. They stayed there Saturday night, Sunday night, last night. 3 nights in Cleveland. Get the fuck out of there. Go back to New York. Be normal. Then you fly back on Monday. But no, everyone made fun of me for that. Well, this is the fucking shit that happens. It's all up here. This is where the playoffs are. Yes, scheming and of course, your game plan and everything, your play calling, of course, all that matters. But none of that matters if the execution isn't followed through. And execution is all up here. The Knicks, I feel like they iced themselves by staying in Cleveland. I don't even know where. I don't even know what the hell they were even doing there. It's only like what, an hour and a half flight, hour and 15-minute flight. How far is the flight? Can't be that far. Chicago was 2 hours when I used to live in New York. Fly to Chicago. I used to fly twice a week. New York, Chicago, New York, Chicago, New York, Chicago. So there's that. But Thibs. Oh man, you got outcoached tonight. You got outcoached tonight by a playoff rook. You should be embarrassed with yourself. You should look in the mirror tonight. And I know you will, because I know you're hard on yourself. But this game tonight was an example of all of the worst aspects of the Knicks team all coming together tonight. And that's why it ended up in a 107-90 loss. And actually, the game wasn't even that close in the second half. That was after the Cavs pulled their starters, their rotation players, and emptied the bench and let guys like, Raul Neto get in there. And Lopez. Mostly the reason why I'm upset with this game is because the Knicks just did not show the urgency that they should have shown, that they should have had. They should have had the entire time. That sense of we must execute and win this game. A lot of times it felt like they knew, oh, well, we got the one game in the bag. We can go back 1-1. That's not the way great teams are. And remember, I did not want to use the term great team. Obviously, we're not a great team. But even very good teams don't do this. They don't do this. However, because also, Cavs are not a great team. It's one thing when the Lakers and the Celtics used to battle each other and one team would blow the other one out, and then the next game, it would be the reverse or it'd be a tight game, and you'd have these great series. No, Cavs are not a great team. They're barely a very, very, barely a very good team. I mean, look, they only scored 107 points themselves. But we couldn't even break the century mark. Crazy. Let's get to the highlights while I talk more about this disaster. This disaster. When you have a man down, you can't let them get back up, because everything changes. Just the idea that they got back up sometimes is enough to wake them up and embolden them to come out and take something from you that you so preciously fought to take from them. They want to take it back. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. Enjoy that highlight right there, because there really weren't many for the Knicks. Really weren't many. That first quarter, it really felt like, oh, wait, we might be picking up where we left off. But then Jalen Brunson just dribbled the shit out of that ball. He passed it there, which was nice. He got it to Obi Toppin, who inexplicably did not play a single second in the second quarter. Yeah. Why? Because Randall was so hot? Randall he shot 40%. He actually was our only competent three-point shooter, and I'm glad he kept shooting it. But overall, he was just not, he didn't have it. He obviously is still, not 100%. I would say he's probably at about 82% of himself, but he still tries to do things and moves as if he was all the way back and had his conditioning all the way back. Well, when your game is based upon physicality, your physical advantage over your opponent, and you're compromised because you're still working your way back from an injury, then there is no advantage. Then you're just a guy trying to spin into the lane who doesn't have enough lift and enough ferocity behind his finish, where you just don't finish. He shot 8 of 20 overall. He only went to the free throw line 3 times. Now, that could be the refs. The refs were terrible. They were terrible tonight. I mean, there's a difference between letting guys play and letting guys punch other guys in the face with an elbow and cause bleeding and never even call it, never even see it. That's what happened to Quentin Grimes. And Jalen Brunson got smacked in the face at least 3 times by CAVS and a 4th time by Julius Randle late in the game. But Jalen Brunson, man, he just didn't have it. He shot 5 of 17, less than 30%. He shot less than 30%. From the three-point line, he was 1 of 8, 12.5%. Now, he made 9 of 10 from the free throw line. That's great. He got to the stripe, got to the charity stripe 10 times. But in the end, he gave us 20 points, but he was a minus 10. Now, look at the score right here. The end of the second quarter. It's going to end up being 59-39. We were down 20. And around the 2-3 minute mark, with 3 minutes left in that second quarter, I was thinking, you know what? God, this would be great if the Knicks would just it was like a 10-point deficit, maybe 12-point deficit at the time. It was like teetering between those two. And we showed little signs of life. And I thought, you know what? Maybe we can get a hold of this and cut that deficit down to 10, to keep that deficit that's at 12, maybe get it down to 8 or even 6 before the end of the half. Totally went the other way. It was 20. It was minus 20 by the end of that half. And then I was convinced that once the Knicks got into the locker room at halftime, that they would see what it was that the Cavs were doing to them, which is double teaming Brunson every time he had the ball, get it out of his hands, and they're trapping him on sidelines, on either sideline. We would have thought, we would respond, that we would send a guy over, a screener or somebody, an outlet, a release valve, so that Brunson has someone to pass the ball to. But no, we didn't make those adjustments. In fact, our very worst quarter, actually our worst quarter was the second quarter of the game by far. That's where we lost the game. But in the third quarter, we didn't make enough adjustments to be able to recapture this game at all. And you can see it right here. Look, we're down 21. So we lost this quarter. Now we're down 24 by the end of that third quarter. The fourth quarter was basically irrelevant in this game because also I don't know what Julius Randle was doing in the game with only a few minutes left, and it was already a 20-point lead. And you'll see at the end of all these highlights is the moment where Randle goes in for a dunk, and Jarrett Allen, he tries to block it, but he had no chance. He had no chance to block it, and he still tried to do it, and it almost ended up in a major injury for Julius Randle. He fell on his side, and he been really bad. But according to Ian Begley, who tweeted this out just a few minutes ago, he said Julius Randle said his back is fine. He said he asked to stay in the game late in the fourth quarter to get his leg/rhythm after missing 2 weeks due to ankle injury. You know what I say to that? No. Sit your ass down, Julius. That's what I say to that. If 3 quarters weren't enough, a fourth quarter isn't going to make a difference, except now we're losing. There's nothing else to play for except an injury. And that's almost what happened. I pray that he really is fine and that, he'll be able to go on Friday. Yeah. So this is it. I mean, these highlights are useless to watch in terms of Knicks fans. All right, here we go. Look, quickly gets in there. Nice steal. But, the game's pretty much over by this point. Here's the play. Boom. Look at that. What, Jarrett, you had no chance to block that, bro. He didn't even get his hand on the ball. He actually, his hand didn't even touch Randall's arms or hands or anything. He just slammed into him, his body. That's why they have those rules of flagrants, for that exact thing, to avoid players doing that exact move. All right, let me show you something here. Wait, first, let's do this. Ian Begley, tweet. Got to have one, especially in the playoffs. Look, at the end of the day, ecstatic that we're coming back 1-1. Of course, I'd be happy, but I would be happy if you asked me before the series began. If we come back 1-1, will you be happy? Of course, I'd be happy. But the thing is, once you fight so hard to get that game won, you don't want to give them any signs of life. You don't want to make them feel like we can actually win this. Well, that's exactly what we gave them tonight. I'm sure the Cavs are convinced that now they can win this game. Well, maybe that could work in our advantage because we were convinced that, the Cavs weren't going to come out and punch us in the face. That's how they played. That's how the Knicks played, and that's exactly what they did. Surprised that we were not ready for that. Ian Begley tweeted this out. Darius Garland had 32 points, 7 assists, and Karis LeVert had 24 in Cavs' Game 2 blowout win over New York Knicks. Donovan Mitchell had 13 assists and 2 steals, took just 11 shots. Cleveland out-rebounded New York on offensive glass, 13-11. New York Knicks shot 37% from the floor and had 18 turnovers. That was the killer, the 18 turnovers. Of course, the poor shooting is going to kill you, but the turnovers makes it even worse. It compounds it all. Cavs had 32 points off of turnovers. And then I tweeted this out at the half. Josh Hart is a minus 21 in 17 minutes in the first half. Maybe he should have sat out this game. He's obviously not his usual tenacious dog self. Maybe in second half, he and the rest of the Knicks can recapture what has worked for them versus Cavs in the past, which is pound the offensive glass, don't make turnovers, and don't let them get clean looks. Well, we didn't do any of those. Cavs lead New York 59-39 at the half, and they ended up winning the game by 17 points. Incredibly depressing, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. We still can come back, but I don't like that attitude. I hope the players are right now marinating in the patheticness of the display that they put out on that court tonight, and including you, Tom Thibodeau. Your rotations were ridiculous. Why Obi didn't play the second quarter? In fact, let's get to the I broke it down here by quarters here. Oh, actually, I should have had this ready. Here we go. First quarter, Knicks, we only scored 22 points, 3 of 9 from the three-point line, 38.1% overall. I mean, we only hit 5 of 12. We barely even took that many shots. We got our 10 rebounds, which is great. We should normally do, but look at the 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers in that first quarter was a bad sign. We average about 3 to 4 turnovers, about 3.5 turnovers per game, per quarter. Sorry, per game, per quarter. So here, 5, and then the second quarter was a complete and utter total disaster. But look at Jalen Brunson, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. Shot 3 of 9, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. He did get 2 steals, but 2 assists. That's it. It was 8 points. 8 points. He was a 0 in plus minus because it was early in the game. Josh Hart comes in 4 minutes, about almost 5 minutes, -4 right there. Mitch, he struggled in this game. He struggled tremendously. He didn't even have 1 shot attempt at all in that first quarter. He lost the ball twice. They tried to pass it to him once down low. I think once was a bounce pass, couldn't handle it. Another one was a little shuffle pass, couldn't handle it. Just total, clumsy hands tonight. But check this out. The Cavaliers, they shot 44.4% from the three-point line in that first quarter. They didn't shoot that great inside the arc. Not at all. They were like 3 of 9 inside the arc, but they were 4 of 9 outside the arc, but they went to the stripe 8 times, hit 7 of them. 10 rebounds, same as us, but they committed 6 turnovers. We committed 5. So that's why the game was still kind of close-ish, because even though we were shooting like crap, they were still not necessarily pulling away with this game. So it's 25-22 right there. But look at the second quarter. We put up 17 points in the entire quarter. Tragedy. Julius Randle played the entire second quarter. 3 of 8. 1 of 3 from the three-point line. A -17. Jalen Brunson, a -14. Quentin Grimes, no shot attempts. -10. And Josh Hart, no shot attempts, played the entire second quarter, was a -17. And Isaiah Hartenstein, who played an excellent game 1, not tonight. 2 points in that second quarter for him, a -10. The Knicks shot 1 of 7 overall from the three-point line. Jalen Brunson, once again, missed 2 three-point shots. So he was 1 and 5. So he was 1 of 7 from the three-point line in the entire first half. He obviously didn't have it. But then you put in Emmanuel Quickley. He only plays 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Took 1 3-point attempt. How can a guy get into the flow? How can a guy get into any rhythm when he's on a court for 3 minutes? It feels like Thibs got punched in the face by JB Bickerstaff, and he had no idea how to respond. He like just defaulted back to his usual, rotations. Normally, Randle doesn't play 12 minutes in the second quarter. He doesn't. And Josh Hart doesn't play an entire quarter either. On a bum ankle? On a bum ankle? Cavaliers third quarter, they scored 34 points. So they doubled us up in that third quarter. And Darius Garland went off. 4 of 7 overall in 12 minutes. 5 of 5 from the free throw line. 15 points, a +17 for him. Donovan Mitchell only attempted 1 shot in that quarter. And the Cavs totally just built that 20-plus point lead. We cut it down to 20, but I think at one point it was like 24, 22-point lead or whatever. I was just bummed, man, because when I was watching it, I could see. I was like, this looks bad. We need to do something fast. And I thought for a moment there in that, mostly fourth quarter, I was thinking, you know what? There's no reason to bring Randle and Brunson back in this game. Let the young guys, play the rest of this game out, and let them get into some kind of rhythm, because we need the bench to provide offense for us. But no, Thibs changed his mind by around the 6-minute mark or whatever in that fourth quarter when the game was totally out of hand. Brunson and Randle came back in. I can't remember the exact minute mark, but they came back in, and then, the game was what it was. Look at it. They shot 50% overall in that second quarter and 50% from the three-point line, and they only missed 1 free throw attempt during that period. 11 rebounds for them in that period. Man, they really cooked us there. Third quarter, you were thinking, oh, maybe there's some, this is the moment where the Knicks respond. Nope, not at all. Brunson played almost the entire third quarter and scored 0 points. I don't think that's even happened this year. That might be the first. I don't remember ever seeing a stat line like that for an entire quarter that where Brunson played almost the entire quarter. That is wild. He just didn't have it tonight. At one point, I saw him kind of like grimace, like shaking his hand, his right hand, shaking it. I think he got slapped on it. I don't know if it was bothering him, but they were double teaming him. They were trapping him, and he just did not have the responses that he should have had. And also, Thibs didn't make it easier for him with the play calling. There was 0 ball movement through the first 3 quarters of this game. 0. And look, the ball travels faster than feet. Move the ball. If you keep moving the ball around, at least until you find a good shot, you have a better chance of making that shot. It's just basic. But if you just pound it, and you're already being double teamed, and your vision is being disrupted, that possession has very little chance of resulting in a point being made. And the reason you're getting trapped is because the ball is staying in one place. Yeah. There it is. The Cavs didn't have a great third quarter either, but it didn't matter because they had already built up that 20-point lead. They committed 5 turnovers in that third quarter. We committed only 1, but still they ended up winning it anyway, 23-21. They shot 50% overall from the field and from the 3-point line. 11 rebounds. Look at that. It's just almost like a replica each time. Now let's get to this right here. So these are the complete stats for the game. As I mentioned, Randall was 8 of 20 overall, 22 points, 8 rebounds, only 1 assist for Julius Randle. And no assists for RJ, even though he came up with 14 points, but he needed 13 shot attempts for that. 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. We needed some efficiency from RJ. Didn't have it for us today. Terrible. But at least he was trying. He's willing to take the shots. I felt like a lot of these guys were passing up on decent looks. Look at Grimes, 0 for 2. There was a time when he caught the ball on the 3-point line. Yeah, there was a guy trying to close out on him, but he definitely had enough time. Instead, he decided to drive, and it ended up in a disastrous possession. We didn't even get a shot attempt in that possession. When your shooting guard, who is technically your best shooter, only gets 2 shots, you know something's wrong with your offensive scheme. You know that the person who's initiating the offense isn't doing his job tonight, and that was Jalen Brunson. But, no one had a good night. No one had a good game. Nobody at all. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this in any way. Quickly ended up 4 of 8. The one slight positive that could carry over into Game 3 is that Quickly did get 23 minutes on the court because during the blowout in that fourth quarter, and at least he finally got to get some burn and maybe get into a little bit of rhythm. His 3-point shot still really wasn't there, 1 of 4, but inside the arc, he was 3 of 4. So that's pretty decent for him, 12 points. Look at the plus minus, and this will tell you the whole story, guys. Josh Hart, he ended up at minus 29, the worst on the team. Toppin was a minus 10, Brunson a minus 10, Mitchell a minus 10, Randall a minus 7. RJ Barrett, who I'm sure everyone is fucking flaming tonight and saying he's terrible, we got to get rid of him, whatever. He was a minus 2. He was a minus 2 in 33 minutes. Yeah. And where was Miles? Miles Deuce McBride should have played in this game. He should have come in that second quarter. He would have been awesome to slow down Garland when he was going off. But Thibs made no adjustment. I think Deuce came in with the like 20 seconds left in that first half, and then never saw any more court time. I believe until maybe in the fourth quarter in garbage time. If he even played garbage time. Did Deuce even play garbage time? Oh, yeah, he played 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. But that was it. The Cavs, I'm sure they're happy with this result, incredibly happy. I don't think, however, let me just get to this part here. And then I'll give you guys my summation. Cavs shot almost 50% from the field on only 77 shot attempts. The Knicks only got 2 more shot attempts than the Cavs. We need to get at least 10 more shot attempts than our opponent. And that usually comes from just, hustle, second chance, obviously second chance opportunities, but mostly from the offensive glass. And tonight we ended up a +2 in the offensive glass, but that's too close for comfort. 13-11. We ended up getting out-rebounded overall, 43-36, and that was a major difference in this game. And also, our 3-point shot just wasn't there. They made they doubled us up on 3-point makes. Doubled us up on 3-point makes. Wow. Now, turnovers. Both teams ended up with 18 turnovers, but by the third quarter, because this is misleading, which is why I kept this stat. By the third quarter, here, I'm looking for it here. Hold on. Here, by the end of the third quarter, it was 16 turnovers to 12 for us. And they had scored 27 points off of our 16 turnovers, and we'd only scored 19 off of their 12, so they were a +8 right on turnovers alone. +8. And they were a +4 on fast break points, and the points in the paint, well, they were a +2 in the points in the paint. So there you go. You add all that up, that's pretty much a 20-something point lead. The largest lead in the game for the Cavs was 29. We once had an 8-point lead in this game, if you could believe that. Oh, man. We shot well from the free throw line. It's a positive. All right, let's get to the summation. Playoff basketball is it's just so different from regular season, because sometimes you have the mentality in the regular season, you play so many games, and it's like an endless string of games, and you're like, oh, well, we didn't do that well tonight. Okay, well, then the next game. Well, in the playoffs, the next game could be your very last game. The next game could determine everything. And I talked to you guys about how important Game 3 is. Game 3 is pivotal. Pivotal. 2 years ago, we were 1-1, going down to Atlanta to play the Hawks. And that Game 3 was crucial. I expected Randall to finally figure out what it was that the Hawks were doing to him, how they were blitzing him, and he would just spray the ball out quicker, which is still stuff we didn't do tonight. No passing tonight. No, that's why we couldn't get like decent looks from the 3-point line, because everything was dribble, and we blitz it and trying to beat the guy off the dribble. No ball movement. I mean, I don't even think we did one Spain pick and roll. Did we even? I can't even remember seeing anything like that to try and at least give. Or even like some side pick and roll, some side Spain pick and rolls where we had double screeners on either side to create more opportunities to shake loose the defender from our ball handler. No, I didn't see any of that. I saw a lot of forced, and then when they did finally pass, they were forced passes. Brunson trying to bounce pass a pass to Isaiah Hartenstein, which was easily read by Donovan Mitchell. Cut in through the paint. Picked it up, went the other end, 2 points. In the playoffs, you can't give an opponent who's down any oxygen at all. And that's what the Knicks did tonight. So now Game 3 is going to be anybody's game, honestly, because we know what happens when teams come into the Garden. MSG is a place that has such tremendous importance to basketball athletes all over this country that when they get a chance to play there, when all the eyes of the world are upon you, it's their moment to shine, not to shrivel. They're going to come in on Friday, the Cavaliers, and they're going to try to do exactly what they did to us tonight. But will Thibs respond? Will Thibs put an emphasis on ball movement? Will Thibs make substitutions quicker and crisper? We're going to see. We're going to see. I still believe that we are a better team than the Cavs. We didn't show it tonight, but we have shown it all season long when we have faced them. We are currently 4-2 versus these Cleveland Cavaliers totally in this season. So we have the upper hand. We're coming back to MSG. It's the Mecca, and I want to see our guys rise up to meet this challenge. The one positive thing that we could glean off of this is Immanuel Quickley finally waking up in that fourth quarter. That's something that could carry through. We've seen it before. We've seen him need, garbage time like that where he starts cooking, it gets in the flow. A lot of it is confidence. I mean, it's all confidence. It's all confidence and believing and execution, obviously. This is going to be an interesting game 3. I cannot wait. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe right here. Twitter, Instagram, obviously YouTube. Turn on the notification bell so you're notified when I go if I go live or when I drop a video. I'm just so annoyed by this loss. We could have won this game, man. It was right there. It was right there. We just had to step up and apply that same physicality that the Cavs were giving us. Give it back to them. We weren't ready, but also I think we were compromised because obviously Brunson didn't look like himself. Randall is still not himself. I mean, Randall, since that first quarter in that game 1, it really hasn't played that great since. And then Josh Hart, who's, our dog, our ever-ready bunny, the motor, honey badger, whatever. Well, he was definitely a major liability tonight with his plus-minus, a minus 29. He was almost 3 times worse than the next worst plus-minus player on the court. And that comes from, someone whose game is predicated on out-hustling the opponent, whoever he's playing against. If he's compromised by, bum ankle, kind of levels the playing field, or even weakens you beyond even being level with the playing field. At this point, it was he was a total liability. So Miles McBride should have gotten those minutes tonight, for sure. I mean, I get the idea, or okay, let's see what Josh Hart has. He says he can play, but when by halftime he's a minus 21, you should already be scheming to make an adjustment and bring in McBride in there so that he can at least slow down Garland. But Thibs didn't do it, and now we lost. Now the Knicks are coming back 1-1. We'll see. We'll see about this. The one thing I'll say this, and it hurts me to say this. Some of my confidence has been rattled by watching this execution tonight. It has. Because they just never made the adjustment to based upon what was actually happening in that first half. In fact, they got worse. And they lost. All right. Thank you for watching this. I probably will do a pregame live show on Friday before the game, and then of course always the post games. That one might be live. Hopefully we'll win. It's much more fun to go live when you win. All right, thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and drop your comments. I want to hear your feelings and thoughts about this game, whatever I may have overlooked, or if you disagree with anything I'm saying. I'd love to hear it. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.